My name's Emil. I'm a digital strategist. I answer marketing questions, and today's question is about how accurate are UTMs. This question is from Reddit, and it's from Amadi15. How accurate are UTM tags, and do you use them to make choices? I'm using Hyros. That dude has some great YouTube videos, and Google UTM tags and Facebook to track my sales and make choices as to what ads to kill or scale. This is and he talks about missing sales and having some trackability issues. We're all facing it. Anybody who's marketing online right now is facing it. But from a very long time ago, one of the things that I've understood about tracking, and I don't remember how this came into my life, so it's not out of my own egg up here. So somebody taught me this, but the first conversation when you're tracking any sort of data is, why do we track this data? What is this data going to tell us? And when we're looking at UTMs, well, UTMs are a medium to pass on information. So I hope this answer helps, because what I want to do is kind of restructure what insightful information you can gain, and where Hyros and even Google Analytics and so many other things will fail you. But if you have the right framework of what you're tracking, you can do an excellent job no matter what the regulations are. So one of the reasons we track is to validate. Like, is this a good place to spend money? Right. That's the first one. This is validation. The next one is optimization. Once we validate that, yes, these sources are a good source of revenue for organization, now let's make this resource even better for us. That's where the optimization comes from. And validation needs broad data. We just need something like this. If you had to look at this right now and say, where do we get a huge amount of our conversions from? Well, it's direct. It's going to be Google search, and you can go by source medium. And I don't mean required attachment from a UTM. You can go in through analytics and just say referring domain, referral. Most of this direct up here is cleaned up and safe to say is organic. Then we have email, then paid search. So broad data is solved right here. We have this broad data available to us. Optimization is big data. So we know that we want to optimize for Google search, for example. And for that, we're going to be looking at things like keyword level, creative, the network it's on, the device type that it's on. We want to pass all of that information on so we can get that paid from third to second possibly, right? Or whatever our goal happens to be. All UTM data is basically last click information. It's the last time somebody clicked your ad. And this is important to know, because UTM data and where Hyros comes in, where everybody comes in with this last click attribution model, is really what a UTM is. We want to pass on as much of that information as we can, but when it fails, we don't want to be left in a lurk wondering what we missed. And too many of us are optimizing, and I see it all the time, and I make this mistake quite often, is we're optimizing for that last click so we can say this one thing worked. But as long as I've been doing this, no one thing works. This is what the normal trajectory of all of the ads that we run. Here's a great one. Paid search unavailable. Paid search. Then they came to the site 14 times before they converted. Paid search, 2 different ads. Then they came to the website, and then they saw another ad. There is very rarely is one ad the sole driver of your business, but we, for some reason in this day and age, think that the best ad is the one that drives it. The best ad might be the one that gets your attention, but the worst ad is the one what they convert on. And we do not use Google Analytics and time lag reports and assisted conversion reports enough as marketers. We rely on that last click attribution level. And this is the very thing that under iOS 14.5 and iTab is under attack. And it should be. There's a lot of privacy and security concerns there, but here's how I've overcome them even before this was an issue, because there's always going to be some sort of man-in-the-middle security device. So let me show you how it works, and then I'll tell you how I've solved this problem. So Google search, Facebook, Bing, YouTube, wherever you place your ad, you have a link there. And that link, when somebody clicks it from any of those platforms, they do something called link shimming or URL wrapping. This is where the link goes to their server, a very specific site, and it decides what it's going to do. Is it going to refer it to your domain because it's safe and secure? Are you asking for any details in the UTM that shouldn't be passed on? It's doing some complex things in their link shimming, which is primarily a Facebook thing. URL wrapping, as everybody does it. But as it goes through this process, your website, the link that you're sending, it's all being analyzed for security and privacy issues. And that's where your UTM source equals whatever may be stripped, right? Now, we can't solve what happens in there for tracking. Once it goes to that shim port, we're done. We don't know what to do there, right? But what we can solve is an interesting place is in the middle of this. So instead of using a traditional link, use a branded custom link that's hosted on your own domain. This means you can issue a specific link for every ad creative, a specific link for every campaign, a specific link for every audience segmentation. And then you can use that data along with UTM data and along with its own independent click tracking. So you can see how many clicks came from the platform that they report. Look at that individual link attribution model in whatever system you're using for your custom short links, see how those clicks validate and where they are, and then track that percentage into your Google Analytics. Google Analytics is absolutely critical. Do not trust any platform and do not trust any single reporting agency. You need a lot of tools at once, and a lot of comments have mentioned this. So that's one way. Another way you can do it is just having a bunch of different, just copy the page you're sending all your traffic to and just create different URLs for it and make them non-indexed. So you could be sending, you could have 100 pages that are all duplicated and they all have different URL structures because you're testing a lot of things, and you can look into your Google Analytics and see that attribution report. I use blank.io. I love that service. It's like cheap. I think it's like $10 a month or $20 a month. You get 500 or 5,000 links, something like that. And you can change the link's destination too. So once you publish a link, let's say you have all these ads going, and this URL shortened link that you have, you realize that one destination page is outperforming them all. You could switch all of the final URLs in your multiple links to redirect to one single page, or you could run some A/B tests. You can do all kinds of really cool stuff with link shorteners. But I think what we need to do is think about multi touch point conversions. No one ad is the winning ad. Anybody who's done this long enough can say, I don't trust that one ad will get you all the sales. And most people, when they are thinking about what they're tracking, they need broad data to track. But we go down this rabbit hole of having optimization data quite often, and this is where Hyros, I think, drives a lot of people down that road, where they're like, hey, we'll tell you exactly which ad is working. I want to know which ad is working in a chain, not individually. Individually tracking one thing, it doesn't allow you to see how they're interconnected, and the interconnection is where the power is, because people need 31.5 times to be impressions to see you, and up to 6 or 7 real interactions on your site before they convert on average, and that's from Google alone. So I hope this helped. I hope to give it some context to UTMs, where they're good, where they fall apart, other ways they can get around. It would mean the world to me if you subscribe below, and as always, happy marketing.